The government shutdown ends. We have response from Montana senators. Montana becomes the first state to reward internet companies for following old net neutrality laws. And the flu is getting around in the Flathead, adding over 80 new cases this month.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on KAJ, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Don Fisher. The full federal government is back in business. Lawmakers passed a short-term spending bill after Democrats got assurance that a bill to protect young immigrants from deportation will hit the Senate floor in early February. Montana's U.S. senators were on opposite sides of today's vote to break a budget impasse and reopen the federal government. The Senate voted 82-18 to allow a vote on the deal, which funds the government for another 2.5 weeks. Republican Senator Steve Daines voted in favor and points out that the short-term deal extended the children's health insurance plan for another 6 years. But Democratic Senator Jon Tester was among the 18 members who voted no, most of them Democrats. Tester's political opponents, including several Republicans vying for the nomination to run against him this year, ripped into him Monday. They said Tester sided with the extreme liberal fringe of the Democratic Party, trying to force a deal on immigration. But Tester told Montana reporters his vote had nothing to do with immigration and instead was on an objection to continued short-term budgets that he says short vital programs in Montana.
This was about putting pressure on leadership and getting to the table to quit fooling around with the budget and get something out there that works and works over the long haul. If my opponents want to criticize me for fighting for Montana, they can do that. I am not wired to sit back and say, we're just going to keep tolerating this nonsense day after day after day.
Most Senate Democrats joined Republicans to end the government shutdown while also providing access to health care for over 24,000 Montana children. It was pointless to shut the government down.
And Tester is up for re-election this year for a third consecutive term. Switching over to weather, more rain and snow in the forecast, but maybe a quick break in the middle of the week. But for more on what we can expect, let's toss it over to Chief Meteorologist Aaron Yost with a look at our first forecast. Aaron?
Yeah, some of us still seeing some lingering light snow from today's disturbance. This will come to an end here during the early morning hours tomorrow, leading to a pretty quiet Tuesday. But right now we're almost there to that drier air. Still a couple of even heavier showers being reported right now across west central Montana. Again, that low will take place throughout much of Tuesday. We're going to see mostly cloudy skies in the Kalispell area. High temperatures right around normal for this time of year in the low to maybe mid 30s. That will all change though Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. That's when our next system arrives, and it will bring with it slightly milder air, so rain snow mix very possible. More details on the way.
All right, thanks, Aaron. The Big Arm Post Office remains closed as the State Fire Marshal's office continues to look into the cause of a fire that caused an estimated $40,000 of damage to the building. State Fire Marshal investigator Pat Clinch, who conducted the on-scene investigation, says they're following up on several leads from the January 9th fire. About 25 firefighters from multiple agencies responded that day, and they had it knocked out in about an hour after receiving a report of heavy smoke billowing from the roof. The closure forced customers to use the Elmo Post Office for pickup and delivery of their mail. And at the time, Chief Gordon Geezer with the Polson Rural Fire District told MTN News that the fire originated inside the building, but says further investigation is being handled by the State Fire Marshal.
That's a lease building, so the leaseor will repair that building at the government standard. When they do repairs, they're bigger outfits. This one's owned by a property management outfit in Spokane.
And the official cause of this fire is still unknown, with no timetable on how long it'll take them to finish that investigation. And it's Sex Trafficking Awareness Month, and the issue is a growing problem in Montana. It's one that is drawing more attention from law enforcement than ever, especially during a conference held in Kalispell today. Officers, deputies, and troopers from regional area law enforcement agencies attended the training, led by Detective Guy Baker with the Missoula Police Department. Baker has been working sex trafficking cases since 2010 and has trained more than 1,000 law enforcement officers throughout the region, working in coordination with an FBI task force on human trafficking. He says the goal of the training is to better educate and inform Montana's last line of defense against these crimes.
This is a crime that is supply and demand driven, and if there wasn't a demand in the Flathead Valley, it wouldn't be here. So the fact that it is shows that there is a demand and there's a segment of society that is engaged in this type of criminal activity.
And a free seminar for the community is currently underway at the Flathead High School. In Flathead County, a Republican has thrown her hat into the race for the District 3 County Commissioner seat, and that is Rolane Skis officially declared her candidacy, filing today at the Flathead County Election Office. She's currently a board member of the Flathead City County Board of Health and Kalispell City Planning and Zoning Commissions, and she's also a member of the steering committee for the Age-Friendly Flathead, chair of the Flathead County Republican, and past congressional ambassador for the Alzheimer's Association. She says she feels her community connection is the driving force to her passion to serve.
I really feel that we have an opportunity to strengthen our community, and I have a great role to do that in the position of County Commissioner. I believe that we do have an amazing constituency. Our community has awesome people who like to do a lot to help one another, and I just want to grow on that.
And two others have also filed to run for the open seat, Randy Brodell and Jay Scott. And the current commissioner, Gary Kruger, has not decided to rerun yet, and he was elected in November of 2012. A Missoula man died in a weekend avalanche while riding a motorized snow bike. Gallatin National Forest Avalanche Center officials report that 46-year-old Raymond John Moe of Missoula was riding with another Missoula resident and two Canadians when the avalanche struck. The fatal avalanche happened Saturday east of Rays Peak in Idaho's Island Park area, about 28 miles from West Yellowstone. Moe and another rider had gone about 15 feet off the trail up the side of the drainage when they triggered an avalanche about 200 to 300 feet above them. The avalanche was about 600 feet wide and an estimated 2.5 feet deep. Moe was the only rider buried in that avalanche, and all the riders did have their emergency transceivers and rescue gear on them. The incident marks the second avalanche-related death in Fremont County within 2 weeks. Today, Montana became the first state in the nation to safeguard internet freedom. Governor Steve Bullock has signed an executive order requiring internet providers to commit to net neutrality principles to receive state contracts. Bullock made the announcement this morning in front of a computer science class at Helena High School. The Federal Communications Commission repealed national rules regulating net neutrality last month. Bullock says that by July, any company that gets an internet or data contract from the state must commit to never block or slow down lawful content or services, or give favorable treatment to some content in exchange for payments. A number of internet providers immediately made statements promising to continue following those principles, and Bullock said Montanans expect a free and open internet.
What we're asking now is to make sure that more than just statements, that they will commit to that. So there are specific requirements of what they will need to adhere to, and also the information that they'll have to give to all Montanans when it comes to net neutrality.
And Bullock also urged leaders from other states to follow in this and make the same type of commitment for the better of consumers. 13 states, including Montana, are getting failing grades from the Advocates for Highway and Auto Safety. The group released its annual report card today, looking at the states the laws states have on the books to prevent injuries and death on the roads. CBS's Danielle Nottingham reports from Los Angeles.
From laws that stop texting behind the wheel to those that require all motorcycle riders to wear a helmet, safety advocates say states should be doing more to save lives.
We can't go 15 minutes without a single person being killed in a motor vehicle crash.
In 2016, more than 37,000 people died in crashes, up 5.6% from the previous year. 2015 also saw a jump. Advocates for Highway and Auto Safety just released a new roadmap, evaluating states on 16 traffic safety laws. Rhode Island, Delaware, Oregon, Washington, California, the District of Columbia, and Louisiana all scored in the green, with laws that enforce wearing seatbelts in the front and back seat, text messaging restrictions, and some restrictions on teen drivers. South Dakota and Wyoming were at the bottom of 13 states landing in the red. None has a rear seatbelt law or rear-facing car seat or booster seat law crafted for child passenger safety.
We urge state elected officials to use the findings in the roadmap report to introduce, advance, and pass legislation this year.
This group is also advocating automated enforcement, including speed and red light cameras. Melissa Wandahl lost her husband after a driver sped through a red light.
We have the technology to curb this deadly and dangerous behavior.
And advocates want to see collision avoidance systems in all vehicles, not just as a luxury upgrade feature. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And as more states legalize the use of marijuana, advocates for highway and auto safety are eager to see new research about impairment and impact on the roads. Legendary Northwest rock band Pearl Jam will be playing 2 shows in Seattle in August, but there's still no confirmation of another August show in Missoula. The band announced Monday that it would be doing 2 concerts called the Home Shows at Safeco Field on Wednesday, August 8th and Friday, August 10th. Rolling Stone is reporting the show will raise at least $1 million to help fight homelessness, part of a campaign to raise $10 million to help with the homeless problem in Seattle. However, today's announcement didn't clear up Friday's leak on the band's website, a post which listed a stop in Washington Grizzly Stadium in Missoula on August 13th as part of what would be Pearl Jam's first stadium tour in 5 years. The post was taken down a few minutes later, and Pearl Jam's last appearance in Missoula was 5 years ago, but that was indoors at the Adams Center. However, with Montana Jeff Anman in the group, there's always great anticipation the band is about to make its next appearance. And again, we're still waiting for any official announcement on this, and if Pearl Jam does appear in Washington Grizzly Stadium, it would be to follow up to a very successful outdoor showing by the Rolling Stones and Paul McCartney in recent years. Up next, Aaron is back with the rest of your forecast for the week, and later 5 people are missing after a gas well explosion in Pittsburgh County, Oklahoma. The latest coming up.